when I went to Hunter, there were two major factors that influenced my time here, which was, believe it or not, 1959 to 64. There were no boys, and there were no elevator passes. In that old castle on Lexington Avenue, we went up and down stairs constantly, up and down, from the basement lockers up to 5 for French, down to 1 for music, up to 6 for dance. And by the time I'd finished my day on 3 at play rehearsal, I was finally warmed up enough to go to my ballet school on Madison Avenue. Because dance was inside me, it gnawed at me. And dance was hard, it was sweaty. You needed a certain body, which I didn't have. But if you were serious, you had to be like Maura Shira in The Red Shoes, and you had to sacrifice everything for your art. You had to jump off that balcony in front of a train. But then you wouldn't go to college. Well, I was a Hunter girl. That did not fit into my profile. But I have to say that during that period of time, I studied with some of the greatest dancers and teachers of the 1960s. So Arthur Mitchell, who was then a soloist with the New York City Ballet, he taught me to turn. And Deborah Jowett, who had danced with Martha Graham and became dance critic of the Village Voice, she taught me to contract and release. And before Alvin Ailey ever imagined the Revelation Suite, he taught me to drop to the floor and roll. And then I got old and had 2 hip replacements. But it's not all a sad story. After Hunter, I went to Brandeis University and then to the Hartford Stage Company in 1968 for a season. Then I came back to New York City and I performed at the Café La Mama. So I loved performing, still do, but I hated rejection. And so with a heavy heart, I took a straight job. I really wanted to turn my art into a business, but I didn't know how. So I went to work in book publishing, I wrote books with doctors, and finally I toiled for 12 years in digital marketing. And I kept dancing secretly. And that was a very good thing because I was laid off after my 65th birthday. The last project I worked on was a website for a new test for Parkinson's disease. And looking around the internet for a great image for our homepage, I stumbled on 50 people in a studio doing Jets and the Sharks from West Side Story, and they all had Parkinson's. And therein lay my return to the world of dance. I trained with Mark Morris Dance Group and the Brooklyn Parkinson Group, became a Dance for Parkinson's teacher, and then expanded my program to Anyone Can Dance for anyone who is movement restricted or cognitively impaired. So my dancers are unconventional, they are vibrant and energetic, and it is my pleasure and my obligation to teach, choreograph, and prepare them for performance. And I'm hoping that as more people get into this business of creative aging, we'll all be dancing at 100. So what is the clinical evidence that creative aging helps? Well, you can see that this woman is completely engaged in her art. Participating in the arts actually can change the way elders look at their lives, and also those who are alternately abled. It gives them a sense of purpose, self-esteem, and they also don't have that sort of high threshold that Hunter kids have for complete success the first time you try something. So anytime they do something wonderful, it raises their ante just a little bit. In addition, dance combats isolation and promotes socialization. So they have to get out of the house to go to dance class. They are going to be with people who may be similar to them, but they may also be in an intergenerational project. They look at the world in a different way when they're in class. They have a format for safe sharing of emotion and for doing things with one another that seem to mean movement is important. So we know that dance improves gait, balance, and internal rhythm. There are some very serious studies on tango and Parkinson's. We know that what it does is it helps with weight shift. We know that frequent cessation and beginning of movement is very important for somebody who maybe is a little bit stiffer. Their joints don't work as well. So while they are doing this, they get a better sense of their body, proprioception, how they fit in with other people and on the floor. Isn't this an amazing picture? Dance can reduce falling and fear of falling. Oh, what I did back there, that was not falling. That was purposely getting to the floor and getting back up. But 1 in 3 people of my age, over the age of 65, fall every single year. And the reason for this is multiple vision problems, polypharmacy, multiple medications, stiffness, and things on the floor like throw rugs, cords, and pets. Please, any of you with throw rugs, get rid of them right now. The fear of falling can be induced by your daughter saying to you, please, Mom, do not get into that tub again. Never take a bath again. You'll be slippery, you'll be wet, and you'll fall. Or it can be recovering from hip surgery and seeing a pack of those goddamn skateboarders coming toward you. That's terrifying. But we can work on fear of falling by having people practice balance, getting off balance, especially if they're seated in a chair. And movement and music can lift your mood at any age, as you can see. In studies, we see that moving to music actually reduces tension, reduces fatigue, reduces depression, and therefore people who may come into a room saying, I don't really feel like doing anything today, may suddenly, as they hear music from their past, maybe something that they dance to, doo-wop, Motown. Some of my dancers hear gospel every week in church. When they hear that music, they're on, and I mean stay on. So, you're in a particularly good place right now to dance. So I would like you first, everybody get up and stretch. Oh, isn't it great to stand up? Now you can sit down. So we're going to learn a dance, but first we have to learn the song that goes with it. Now you can sit down. If you don't want to sit down, it's fine. So this is a song from Thich Nhat Hanh's Plum Village in France. And I always teach it to groups because it's easier to divide people up, to do things while they are singing and dancing at the same time. So the other thing that's great about dancing in a chair and singing at the same time is your brain has to work. You have to assimilate what I'm telling you, the movement that you're doing, and the words in the song. So it's a mental challenge and a physical challenge. All right, so just listen. When I rise, let me rise like a bird joyfully. Sing with me. When I rise, let me rise like a bird joyfully. And when I fall, let me fall like a leaf without regret, joyfully. Sing with me. And when I fall, let me fall like a leaf without regret, joyfully. Okay, so the words go with the moves. We're going to rise first like the bird. So you're going to bend over, and you're going to lift one elbow, the other elbow, your torso, your head, and your arms. When I rise, let me rise. And then your arms are going to come down, and you'll be the bird, joyfully. Just touch your chest, open up. All right, do it with me. When I rise, let me rise. Cross your arms like a bird, joyfully. Lovely. Okay, so stay up. Now you're up, you have to fall like the leaf. All right? So here comes the leaf is coming down from the top. The other arm comes down, all the way down, and you can just tap your ankles. Now, without regret, wipe your forehead, joyfully. All right? From up here. And when I fall, let me fall. Make a tree like a leaf, without regret, joyfully. All together from the rising. When I rise, let me rise like a bird. Good. Joyfully. And when I fall, come all the way down, let me fall. Make a tree like a leaf, without regret, joyfully. Oh, you're wonderful. Okay, so this half of the audience, starting right there, you're going to be the first bird, the first rising people. We're not doing anything. You're going to be the bird, you're going to rise, and as you get to being falling, you will be the bird. All right? It's like row, row, row your boat. But you know that one better. Okay. I am going to try and do both at the same time. You will notice there's an extra line, without regret. And so we have to sing the song 1.5 times for us to end up together. So keep going after you finish your deal. All right? I'm going to start with them, and then I'm going to come in with you. And somebody here has to be the leader and be falling. All right? Everyone come down. Don't you do anything. When I rise, let me rise like a bird, joyfully. Be a leaf. And when I rise, let me rise like a leaf bird, joyfully. Keep going. And when I fall, let me fall like a leaf, without regret. Everyone, joyfully. Yes. So that's why it's important to invest in creative aging. Because my generation and yours are living longer. And being young and fit and a performer can really only last so long. As my 94-year-old student Ella is always saying to me, you know, I'm not 25 anymore like you. Would you please slow down? But you see how important it is at 94 to be creative and to be doing something that lifts you out of yourself. And so, actors, dancers, poets, artists, playwrights should all expend some considerable part of their talent in fostering the work of elder artists. Because guess what? They're going to be elder artists pretty soon themselves. And because funding is everything, what we need to make our art into a business is serious research and some great clinical studies that show us that quality of life is more important than quantity of life. And then we can get rid of senior centers, we can disband the golden, oldie, and silver programs, and we can concentrate on community. And we can build intergenerational projects like the one I am doing now in Philadelphia with 4 of my elders and 4 preteens. And we can teach kids and teens that old people and those in wheelchairs are not scary and can be good dance partners. And we also have to work with healthcare providers and get them away from that dreaded exercise prescription and instead have them foster programs in dance, yoga, Pilates, and even boxing. The idea is to interweave clinical medicine with balancing, stretching, and joy. Were you joyful when you were dancing just now? Yes. I bet. Thank you.
I'm pretty sure I pulled something, but I don't dance a lot.